7 move abroad questions to ask yourself before you make the big leap. And this is actually part 2 because I started this yesterday and did not get through it like I thought I was going to. So we are running it back. Okay. Well, we're not running it all the way back. Hold on. We're not running it all the way back. We're not going to go through everything. I will quickly recap the first 3/4 questions from yesterday, but today is going to be primarily spent on the remaining question that we did not get to. But hey, y'all, first of all, welcome. Hey, YouTube. Hey, TikTok. Hey, IG. Hello. So welcome. Happy Thursday, pre-Friday. Well, actually, yeah, it is pre-Friday. I don't know if anyone's watching the replay. I don't know what time it is or what day it is. But for now, it's Thursday. So yeah, before we go ahead and get started, first of all, let's go ahead and start showing some love. Y'all know I'm all about, I'm sorry, I didn't know what that was behind me. It's like a bottle of tahini sitting on the counter. Distracted me for a second. But yes, y'all know that I appreciate the love. So please make sure you are double tapping on whatever platform you are watching from. Please make sure you are sharing some hearts. I really appreciate it. If y'all know anybody who's interested in moving abroad, if you know anybody who's been wanting to move abroad, they've been talking about living abroad, but maybe they don't know how to get started. They feel a little bit intimidated. They're like, is this even a real thing? I see all these people online doing this, but how can I really make this happen for me? Any of that, please make sure you share the video with them. You have anybody who you're trying to convince to go live? I mean, Jesus, not go live. Anybody who you're trying to convince to move abroad with you, you can share the live with them as well. And start dropping any questions y'all have about moving abroad, living abroad. I'll give a little bit of my own background, my living abroad journey, etc. And then we're going to get into these 7 questions. Hey, y'all, welcome. If y'all are new here, drop a number 1 for me in the chat. Let me see those number 1s. If you are brand new to my lives, if y'all ain't never been in here before, drop a number 1 in the comments. And if you have been here before, you've been rocking with me, drop a number 2 in the comments. Let's see who we got in the house that is brand new and who has just already been here. And thank y'all so much for sharing. Thank y'all so much for sharing the live. Thank you for double tapping. I really appreciate it. Mad West, welcome back. Let's get it. Drop a number 1 if you're new. Drop a number 2 if you are not new, if you have been here before, but you are circling back because you rocks with me, because I appreciate that. You know, I really do. And if y'all have any questions about moving abroad, drop them in the comments, and I'll definitely try to get to all the questions that I can. Welcome, KP. Thank y'all so much for the heart. So a little bit about me. My name is Bianca, and me and my husband left the United States last year to live abroad as digital nomads. So we left the United States on February 4th, 2024. We got on a one-way flight to Brazil. And after Brazil, we went to Spain, Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, Indonesia, China, Panama, Colombia, and we're currently in Mexico. So we've been in 10 different countries since we left the US last year to live abroad as digital nomads. So I am specifically calling us digital nomads because people move abroad in different ways, right? Like some people, they move to one place and they get settled. Me and my husband, we are digital nomads, which means that we are nomadic, right? So that means we don't have one place that we call home. We move around from country to country. Not everybody chooses to live abroad that way, and that's all good, but that's how we chose to do it. There are a lot of different reasons we decided to leave the United States. Thank y'all for the hearts. There's a lot of reasons we decided to leave the U.S. Yes, for temporary Mexican resident. Let's get it. Residency. But yeah, like we have found that we are happier when we are abroad. Our souls are more at peace. Like we feel healthier physically, mentally, spiritually. Like we absolutely love living abroad. Living abroad is not for everybody. Okay. Living abroad is not for everybody. I want to move to the U.S. Joshua, you're in the wrong live. I can't help you with that. But for anybody who wants to move out of the U.S., you are in the right place. Thank y'all for the hearts. Please continue to like and share. I appreciate it. Keep dropping those number 1s. If you're new here, drop a number 1 in the comments. If you're brand new, if you are not brand new, if you've been rocking with me, drop a number 2 in the comments. And yeah, let me know what questions y'all have about moving abroad. But we're going to get into the 7 questions to ask yourself. Main man, welcome. So I started this live yesterday and I thought that I was going to get through all 7 questions and I did not. And about halfway through, I was like, we're going to have to do a second part to this. So here I am with part 2. So if you missed part 1, make sure you are subscribed on my YouTube channel because I am going to have part 1 and part 2 on there. I will briefly recap the questions we went over yesterday, but I'm not going to deep dive because I already proved to myself yesterday that I cannot get through all 7 questions in like an hour. So yeah, got to hold myself accountable right here. Thank y'all so much for double tapping. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off. So like I was saying a second ago, y'all, living abroad is not for everybody. Do not let these people gas you. Okay, like if you are someone who is just like, oh, like I've seen these people living abroad and it looks so cool. And, every day is like a vacation. And don't get me wrong. Like, I won't lie. My life is a lot more like a vacation now than it was when I was in the US. Okay. Like me and my husband, this was on Tuesday. Like we were just like in the pool and we were like, wow, look at us just in the pool for hours on a Tuesday afternoon. Like, we never did no shit like that in the US. Like last night we were downtown in the central area here in Merida, Mexico. And we were like, look at us outside after 9 p.m. No, normally I be in bed at 9. Okay. So there are a lot of things that have changed about our lives since we decided to move abroad. But again, that does not mean that living abroad is for everybody. Again, don't let these people on these apps gas you. If you have not traveled, if you are not somewhat well traveled, let me know in the comments. Drop your number in the comments. How many countries have you traveled to outside of the US? There is no judgment. It's okay if it's 0. It's okay if it's 1. It's not a competition. I am just curious. So let me know in the comments how many countries have y'all traveled to? Sebastian, my number is 24 as well. Okay, 24, 19. Who else go drop some numbers in the comment? Y'all don't be shy. There really is no competition. It is, however, it doesn't matter if somebody in here has traveled to 194, 95 countries. Like, please understand, they started with 1, okay? 11, 10. Okay. So the reason I put it out there is because I personally am someone who believes in the importance of traveling first before you just uproot your life and decide to go move abroad. I think that I think that thinking that living abroad is going to be all sunshine and rainbows is a mistake that so many people make. And then they end up hating it and they end up being like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, yeah, this is why I recommend getting out there and traveling first. So the first time I ever lived abroad was 2019. I lived in 4 countries in 4 months. And that was the first time I really experienced like travel, like slow travel, actually traveling like a local. Ain't nobody talking about cruises and resorts. Okay. This is a whole other ballgame. And I mean, I fell in love. I mean, obviously, like I'm here. All right. I left the US last year. So I would not know. I would not have been as confident about us moving this year if I hadn't traveled in that way before. So I do recommend try before you buy. Okay. In my humble opinion, in my not so humble opinion. Like, I just feel like if you have only lived in the US, if you haven't traveled, there's a very good chance that you're going to, unless your personality is very much go with the flow. I'm adaptable. I'm not bougie at all. And that is not me. Okay. Like, I am a little bougie. It is what it is. But those are my recommendations. Okay. 22, Linda, let's get it. So where are y'all trying to move abroad to? Drop your countries in the comments. Countries that you are considering, countries that you are sure of. Drop them in the comments. Let's see. And thank y'all so much for the hearts. I appreciate the love. Please continue to show some love while you are watching the live. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to quickly, I grew up military. I lived in Germany at age 10. Okay. So are you saying you're trying to go back to Germany? Thank y'all for the hearts. So I'm gonna start going through the 7 questions. So the first one, I'm moving to Tulum, Mexico. Love Mexico. Love Mexico so much. I'm in Mexico right now. It's my favorite country. I've been to 24 different countries and Mexico is still my favorite. Judge me. Okay. So let's start. I'm trying to figure out on YouTube. If I put this thing up here, can y'all still see me? I think y'all can. Yeah. Okay. It seems like it's fine. All right. So number 1 question. Again, I'm breezing through the first 3 because we already went through these yesterday. Okay. The number 1 question. Do you truly believe this life is possible for you? Okay. Like, I have talked about the importance of mindset in when it comes to moving abroad, whenever it comes to traveling, like the importance of actually believing this life is possible for you, the importance of not getting caught up in what you see other people doing online, the importance of not comparing your journey to somebody else, the importance of recognizing that the journey is not going to be perfect, but asking yourself, is this what you want? How serious are you about making this happen? What are you planning to do whenever you realize your family and friends don't support you? What's going to happen when, some setback comes up that you weren't expecting? Like, are you going to make it happen? Like, do you truly feel like this life is possible for you? Okay, Nigeria, like, do you really feel like this life is possible for you? Because that's a really big thing that a lot of people are not talking about. If you continue to tell yourself that this is like too hard and it's not for you and it's something you can't do, those are the exact results that you're going to get. So the number one question is, yes, I agree about trying different parts of the world. The number one question is, do you believe this life is possible for you? That's the first question that you want to ask yourself is, are you having a lot of limiting beliefs? Are you having a lot of feelings, or a lot of like self-doubt feelings that are telling you that you can't do this, or that it's too hard, or that it's not affordable, or you can't do it because you have kids, you can't do it because you have pets? Pay attention to the words and the thoughts and the questions and the things that are coming up for you, okay? I'm here for it, Nicole. Dual citizen, let's go. All right, the second one was, what is the most realistic way for you to prepare for this move? Okay, realistic being the operative word here, okay? Listen. Y'all, we talked about this yesterday, okay? I said know thyself. You have to know what you need for accountability. You have to know what you need for motivation, for inspiration, what you need to be your kick in the butt that's going to have you taking action. And this is why, I provide resources to help people do these kinds of things if it's something you want to do. For those of you who do want to get started, I do have a Move Abroad resource guide. It's at the link in my bio. You can check that out if you want to have like a one-stop shop resource for all the things that you need to move abroad from the United States. Number 3, which country or city, because a lot of us, we love to talk about countries, but countries have a ton of different cities. So you want to make sure that you be a little bit more specific. You're welcome, Linda. Which country or city aligns with your wants, needs, and non-negotiables? This is probably the number one question that people have, right? I would say maybe the number 2. I think the next one comes up as the number 1 question. But where am I going to go? Which country is right for me? Which city is right for me? And, I said this yesterday, like, y'all, there are so many different, you have so many options. Like, you honestly have so many different options. And this is another reason why I recommend traveling, because people are like, oh, I've been wanting to move abroad, but I can't decide between this and I can't decide between that. And I'm like, y'all, that's crazy. Like, you're just letting indecision stop you from living your life. Like, you're just allowing more time to pass while you're not doing what you want to be doing. Like, if you actually want to be living abroad, letting something like, oh, I'm not sure which country to go to, hold you back is wild, okay? Like, especially considering there are a lot of countries, maybe not a lot, but there are quite a few countries that you can go to just on like a tourist visa for like 6 months, 12 months, just to get out of the US and start traveling, right? If you are someone who is unsure about where you want to go. I'm in Western Europe if you have questions. Thank you, Nicole. Do you like Thailand or Egypt more? Thailand. Okay, yeah, so that was number 3. So number 4, and this is where we stopped at yesterday. Number 4 is, how will you make a living? So a living. How will you make a living? How are you going to make money while you're living abroad? For those of you who are already tuned in, let me know in the comments, yes or no. Yes, if you already have your money situation plan figured out for living abroad, and put no or not yet if that's something that you are still figuring out. Let me know in the comments, yes or no. Yes, no, or not yet. Because that's probably the number 1 question that I get. Or if people say like, by the way, thank y'all for double tapping. Please continue to like, if people say, oh, this, one thing is like holding me back. Someone will be like, oh, it's money, or I'm trying to find a remote job. Listen, that is okay. That is perfectly fine if you don't have it all figured out right now. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. But thank you, Miles. But listen, we do need to be making progress towards what it is that we want, okay? I talked about this yesterday. I talk about this a lot. Like, people who have this mentality of like money has to come from a job. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a remote job. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you wanting to have a job, or you looking for a remote job. But I also really, really want to encourage you, learn how to make money for yourself. It is time for you to learn how to start earning money on your own, okay? Now, it's a little bit different if you're like, you know what? I'm retired. I got this money coming in. I'm chilling. I know my money's going to go far in this country, etc. But if that is not the case for you, learn how to make money for yourself. There's too many different ways that you can be making money for you to be dependent on one stream of income, okay? Too many ways for you to be dependent on one stream of income. I was literally fired, laid off, and I had to quit a toxic job before I was 26 years old. Okay, I had to learn the hard way. And there's probably some of you who are already watching this. There's probably some of you watching this right now. You already had to learn the hard way. If you've been laid off, if you've been fired, if you were replaced, like in whatever role that you were in. Maybe you're in a situation right now where you feel like you're being pushed out. Y'all, there's too many ways to make money for you to be dependent on a job. On average, wealthy people have 7 streams of income. 7. The days of one stream of income need to be in your past. If you don't know where to start, you can go to the link in my bio and get my cash flow come up checklist. It is literally a resource that I specifically made for the people who are like, I want to learn how to make more money, but I have no idea where to start. Bianca, I'm tired of living check to check. Bianca, I'm tired of being broke. Bianca, I'm tired of having to wait every other week to get paid. Because did y'all know you can get paid every day? Did y'all know you could be getting paid every day? Did y'all know that's a thing? Because that's not what I was taught growing up. I grew up thinking money had to come from a job. I grew up thinking the most frequently that you could get paid was once a week. And I don't know if anybody has ever had a job that paid you every week, but I can remember I was working at this grocery store called Harris Teeter. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, I get paid every Tuesday. This is amazing. Y'all, now I make money every single day. Now I wake up and I see that I made money in my sleep. Thank you so much, KP. Now I get to make money every day. I make money passively. I make money from multiple streams of income, but it's because I had to teach myself how to do these things. I have failed at way more things than I have succeeded at. But if you are serious about learning how to make more money, you can get my cash flow come up checklist. And for those of you who are interested in the Move Abroad resource guide at the link in my bio as well, I do also have resources in there on how to find remote jobs. So like I said, number 4 is all about how are you going to make a living? People will ask me questions like, oh, well, is this country hiring for this? Where can I go and, work here? I'm not telling you that working abroad is impossible. Okay, it's not impossible, but let me get a sip of water. 5 times a week, I'm here for it. Thank y'all for the hearts. So, excuse me. No, damn, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I know I was talking about different ways to make money online, but I don't remember exactly what I was saying. It is like embarrassing how often this happens to me. I'd be like, Bianca, come on, sis. Okay, yes, it's making money abroad. Okay, so I'm not telling you it's impossible to make money abroad, right? A lot of people will do something like teach English, right? You can get your TEFL certification, and a lot of those certifications actually help you land jobs. So that is a possibility. There are some countries where you can apply for like a work permit, but y'all, I'm telling you, these things are going to be so much more complicated than if you just figure out your money situation before you move abroad. If you just figure out your money situation first, then you can move knowing that that's already figured out. So the most common ways that people do that are, number 1, having a remote job. So 2 websites I recommend for remote jobs. One is called Working Nomads, and then the other one is called We Work Remotely. These are 2 websites that I recommend if you are someone who is looking for a remote job. Now listen, when you're looking for remote jobs, like on other platforms, you need to make sure that you are looking for work from anywhere jobs, because a lot of these companies, a lot of these job descriptions, they're like, oh yeah, this job is remote. It's remote. And then you go look and it's like, oh yeah, it must be working from these states, or, oh, you have to work, like during these hours. So you want to make sure that you pay attention, because I have seen situations where people have gotten so excited. They thought they were getting the job of their dreams. And then they realized too late that it wasn't actually a fully remote job. People have come in my lives and they've been like, oh, I work remote, but I can't leave the state. You don't work remote. There's a difference in a work from home job and a work from anywhere job. You want to prioritize jobs that are fully remote. Okay. So make sure that you keep that in mind whenever you are looking for your remote jobs. You also want to keep in mind your time zone. Thank y'all for the hearts. Thank y'all for the love. You want to keep in mind your time zone. So a lot of people love talking about Thailand. Like Thailand is like such like a sexy travel destination. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Thailand too. Okay. Like I love Thailand, but baby, working overnight is no joke. Okay. Some people are built for that and some people are not. And I am not. Maybe you are. Cool. Okay. But that is something to keep in mind. If you're going somewhere like Asia, even if you're going somewhere like Europe, Africa, and you are looking for remote jobs, keep in mind that they might have a certain expectation of your working hours. They might not give a damn that you're in Thailand. They might be like, oh yeah, that you're in Thailand, cool. But guess what? I need you working Eastern Standard Time hours. So you want to make sure that you're also taking into consideration your time zones whenever you're looking at these remote jobs. Now, the main thing that I will say, like with the remote jobs, is y'all just really think about what it is that you want out of your life. Okay. One of the main reasons I wanted to leave the United States is because I wanted to get out of the rat race. I wanted to get away from the culture that was all about work, hustle this. Your value is tied to your job title. Your value is tied to how much money you make. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to get out of the matrix. Why I decided I didn't want to live in that rat race life anymore, because I'll be honest with you, it was hard for me. Like I was like obsessed. I was obsessed with becoming successful, whatever the hell that means. I was trying to do all these different things. I was working myself to death. And then I was like, Bianca, what are you doing? You got one life to live. You got one life to live. And life is about so much more than work. Y'all, your work, your job, whatever it is that you do, it is this much of your life. Like, this is your work and this is your life. And it's very easy to forget that whenever you are in a culture that's constantly tied to productivity. When you're in a culture where it's always so cool to look booked and busy, and God forbid somebody doesn't have anything going on. I got to a point where I was like, damn, it would be so nice to not have anything going on. To just be like, yeah, I'm chilling. Like in the US, we literally compete over like who's busiest, who has the most on their plate. We literally brag about going into work early and then leaving late. We brag about not using our PTO for what? Do y'all think anybody gets to the end of their life and they're like, oh, I'm so glad I never used all my PTO. Wow, I'm so glad that I worked overtime. No. They're thinking about how much time they could have spent traveling the world. They're thinking about how money actually is not your most valuable asset. Time is your most valuable asset. So I want you to keep this in mind as you're thinking about different ways to make money. And again, this is why I made the cash flow come up checklist. Go to my bio and get it if you want to make more money. Go to my bio and get it if you are someone who is like, I want to learn how to make more money. I don't really know where to start. I want to learn how to make more money that I can make from anywhere. Okay? Because in the cash flow come up checklist, exactly, time. In the cash flow come up checklist, I give you more than 20 ways that you can start making more money. And 80% of them you can make from anywhere in the world as a US citizen, okay? Stop thinking your money has to be tied to a job. Y'all, it's 2025. Thinking you got to sit down at a desk for 8 hours in order to make money is crazy. People out here making $1,000 a day from their cell phones. People out here with nothing but a Wi-Fi signal are making $1,000 a day, and you over here breaking your back and not even making $1,000 a week. I don't know who I'm talking to today. Drop some fire signs in the comment if y'all picking up what I'm putting down, because I'm telling you right now, I know what it feels like to live check to check. I know what it feels like to be feeling like, oh my God, it's like my life stops until I get paid again. I know what it feels like to be disgusted because I got to ask somebody permission to take off. I got to ask somebody permission to go to the dentist. You telling me I can only take off X amount of times a year? Y'all, listen, you got me fucked up, okay? Nikki, that's the cash flow come up checklist. Y'all, you get to do this one time, okay? You get to do this one time. So you need to decide the type of life that you want to live. You're welcome, Nikki. You get to decide the type of life you want to live. You get to decide how to have the time to yourself. Those of you who want to spend more time with your family and friends, those of you who have hobbies that you want to do, those of you who want to travel, move abroad, whatever it is, you are a powerful creator. It's time for you to wake up. You've been sleeping on you. You've been sleeping on you for too long, okay? In love with the Manny. Did I ask the questions? Yes, I've already asked 4. So actually, Manny, 3 of them we went over yesterday. So this is actually part 2. I just went over number 4. I'm still talking about number 4. So let me keep going. So we talked about working abroad. We just talked about remote jobs. And then, like I said, the other way is to make money for yourself. And this can look so many different ways, okay? I primarily make money from digital marketing and affiliate marketing. I go over both of those in my cash flow come up checklist as well. It's also at the link in my bio. But you don't have to do what I'm doing, okay? Like, that's an option. If you want to make money in this way, if you like digital marketing, if you want, people even have like faceless pages. You could even... Listen, there are options, y'all, but there's so many other things that you can do in order to make money. You can do like Airbnb, you can do Turo, you can start a virtual call center. You can do drop shipping. There's literally so many different ways that you can make money, but you got to be willing to try something different. We out here talking about all the stuff that we want to do. We out here talking about all the things that we want out of a different life, but then we keep doing the same stuff. Please make it make sense. How are you going to live a different life if you keep doing the same stuff? We're trying to move around February 2026. Let's get it. Do you recommend leaving on a ship? What do you mean a ship? I mean, I don't not recommend it. I mean, as long as you go, shit. I mean, what does the mode matter? For me anyway. I mean, I'm leaving on a plane, but options. I actually have considered doing like a repositioning cruise to get from like one side of the world to the other side. But yeah, whenever it comes to making money, you can also learn how to make money for yourself. I go over options in the Cash Flow Come Up checklist, which is specifically for people who want to make more money. And then I also give a few options in the Move Abroad resource guide. Both of those are at the link in my bio. All right, so that's number 4. Let's get into number 5. Thank y'all so much for the hearts. Let's get into number 5. How will you find housing? Okay, there's a lot of different ways to find housing abroad, okay? And one of the main things that you want to think about is how are you planning to live abroad? So let me know in the comments. Drop the word nomad if y'all are planning on traveling around. Drop the word settled if you're just planning to move to one place and stay there. Because this actually makes a big difference, in my opinion. This makes a big difference in how you want to approach looking for somewhere to live. So I already see nomad in the comments, so I'll just start there. So I'm also a digital nomad. Me and my husband move around. Like I said, we left the U.S. last year to live abroad, and we've been in 10 different countries since February of last year. And so here's what I'll say as a nomad. I feel like both of these things have their advantages and disadvantages, okay? Drop the word nomad if you want to travel around first, or if you want to travel around, drop the word settled if you just want to move to one spot and you just want to stay there. So there are advantages and disadvantages to both, but what I will say is that if you choose the nomadic route, one advantage that you have, my mail goes to my sister's house. One advantage that you automatically have is you're already not married to one location, which is good if you want to be able to explore before you pick a place to settle down. So I talked a little bit earlier about how, you're welcome. I talked a little bit earlier about how, what did I talk about earlier? I just lost my train of thought. I'm an expat. I use a mail service. Yeah, it's just easier to send my mail to my sister's house. Oh my God. I just completely lost what I was about to say. I don't remember. But the point I'm making is that there are advantages and disadvantages to both. And if you are a nomad, then, that's what it was. I was saying that earlier in the live, I talked about how I personally recommend trying, I call it like try before you buy. Thank y'all for all the hearts. I recommend trying out living abroad in some type of capacity before you just take the big leap and uproot your entire life. There are a lot of different ways that you can do this. You can do scouting trips. You can do house sitting. You can do slow travel. You can do travel programs. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. I give a lot of different options in the Move Abroad resource guide at the link in my bio. And if you are nomadic, then you kind of get to like see how you're going to like it first before you decide on a place. Thank you so much for the rose. You get to decide how you like a place. If you're like, no, I'm settling, I'm moving somewhere and I'm staying there, that's cool. Okay. What I recommend for you in terms of housing is going to be a little bit different, because the thing about finding housing, I mean, this isn't just abroad, this is in the US as well. The thing about housing is, think about whenever you sign a new lease in the US, right? Normally, if you are going to do a year versus 6 months, or 2 years versus 1 year, you're going to get a better rate. So it's the same thing abroad. So if you are someone who is like, okay, I want to pick one place to settle, what I would recommend is picking a spot to stay at for like 30 days. And y'all, honestly, whether you're a nomad or not, before you decide, especially if you have not traveled there. Now, if you've already traveled to this place, go for it. But if you haven't been there and you haven't seen the neighborhood, I personally do not recommend booking anything for more than 30 days. Because if you get to a place and you do not like it, and I'm talking about your apartment, house, whatever it is, if you get to a place and you don't like it and you're stuck there for 30 days, that's going to sour your living abroad experience just out the gate. If you don't like where you're staying at, and take it from someone who's been in like 15 different Airbnbs and in hotels in the last like year and some change, okay? If you don't like where you live, it's going to have such a negative impact on your experience. So I do not recommend booking anything for anything longer than 30 days for your first place once you get out of the country. Once you get out of the US, pick a spot for 30 days, kick it there, okay? I would say maximum 30 days. If you want to do more like 2 weeks, it depends how often you want to move, okay? 4 weeks goes by a lot quicker than you think it does. So you're at your place, for 30 days. If you are already in the country that you want to stay in, what I recommend is maybe for the first, I would say like 90 days. And of course, it depends on how big the city is too. Excuse me. But for the first, travel agency for housing and round trip airfare. I have no idea, Kevin. That's not my bag. That's not me. I'm sorry. I can't help you. But as far as like moving and like getting to your place, if you're going to stay in that one spot, then I recommend trying out at least different neighborhoods. So for example, right now I'm in Merida, Mexico, and I've already been in like 3 different areas. So it is very clear to me certain parts of Merida that I love, and then certain parts of Merida that I'm like, you know what, this is not somewhere where I want to live. So if you're staying in the same country, I recommend like maybe hopping around, or in the same city, like checking out different neighborhoods. And if you are going to be nomadic anyway, you already have some wiggle room to play around. But for housing, a few options that you have are, let me put my doc back up. A few options that you have are Facebook groups. A lot of people, do I like Mexican or Thailand better? Mexico is my favorite country. Facebook groups are so underrated whenever it comes to travel and living abroad, y'all. There are so many people that have already done exactly what it is you're trying to do. Whether you're just planning a trip, whether you're going to move abroad, get in these free Facebook groups and start browsing. Don't go in there asking questions that everybody and their baby mama has already asked, okay? I'm gonna be very honest with you. At one point, I remember like feeling like I was kind of shunned in Facebook groups. I was like, oh, I asked a question and like nobody responded, or people were kind of like, and not rude, but they weren't super friendly. I just bought the checklist, but it won't allow me to download it. Gia, it should automatically be in your inbox. Send me a DM, because it should automatically go to your email. And then, do you just mean like the link won't work? That's weird, because it's working for me over here. Let me know. Send me a DM. But yeah, so if you're wanting to get someone else's opinion who's already done it, check the Facebook groups, but use the search feature, okay? Do not just go in there asking like, oh, what are the best things to do in Merida, okay? Like, use the search bar first, see if you can find the information that you need, and have fun with it. Like browse, get you a little cup of tea, cup of whatever you want to sip on, sit out and just start browsing. Like I do that all the time. Like I did that literally for here in Merida. Before I got here, I joined a couple of groups and I just like sat down one day and I just chilled out and I just like scrolled and saw like, what are people talking about? What are the kind of things that are going on here? What questions are people already asking? So Facebook groups are going to be a great way for you to find housing. They have Facebook groups specifically for different cities all over the world, different cities, different countries. And you can also check some groups that are specific for housing. For example, like Medellin, Colombia, like there's so many groups for like rentals. So you can also search like a certain city or a country and you can put the word rentals or like housing afterward as well. Also, Airbnb is another option. So I don't know if you all have noticed, but sometimes on Airbnb, sometimes whenever you're on Airbnb, you will see that the host, it'll be like a company. It'll be like, I'm making this up. It'll be like, I don't know, Bianca Merida Properties or, whatever it is. And that means that means there's a good chance that they have multiple rentals. So you can also reach out and be like, hey, I'm coming here during these dates. What properties do you have available? And I have more resources on how to look for housing in the Move Abroad resource guide at the link in my bio. Okay, so number 6 is, how will you stay within your budget? Okay, so y'all, we're talking about living abroad, but my bread and butter is like how to travel on a budget. And I'm telling y'all, me and my husband, the only reason we've been able to afford to live this life is because we've been balling on a budget. Okay, I left my big girl, I call it my big girl corporate job. I left a 6-figure job in December 2023. It was like Yeah, December 15th, 2023. So that was like less than 2 months before it went to spam. Okay, perfect. I don't know. Yeah, I should have said check your spam folder. I found if you are about to travel to the location and looking for realtor suggestions, they're very helpful. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Epileptic Wanderer. That's a good idea as well. Me and my husband are actually considering reaching out to a realtor to help us find somewhere for Colombia. We're still kind of up in the air about that. But yeah, we would not be able to afford this life if we were not traveling on a budget. Like I said, we have, y'all, I'm telling you, we've been in 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments for less than $800 a month. We have eaten meals for $2, $4. And I'm not just talking about, well, okay, Southeast Asia, $2. Okay. But like $4, $5 meals. I'm not just talking about Southeast Asia. I'm talking about Mexico. I'm talking about Colombia. Listen, when you know, I'm in Mexico right now. When you know what you're doing, and again, like these are things that I teach you how to do. You can travel on a budget. So so whenever you're thinking about moving abroad, thank y'all for the hearts. One of your main expenses is going to be your flight, right? And obviously, if you're flying to like Mexico or Colombia, it's not going to be the same price as if you're moving to South Africa or Qatar or Abu Dhabi or Thailand. So you want to also plan, especially if you can be flexible with your dates. If you're like, oh, I want to move in February 2026, now is a great time for you to be looking ahead to see, well, maybe not that far ahead, maybe like 6 months out. You can look ahead of time and you can see which flight prices are the cheapest. So if you use the Google Flights, thank you so much for the roses, Gia. If you use Google Flights, you can look ahead of time and you can see, when's going to be the cheapest time for you to travel. And y'all, this is important, especially if you are traveling with kids, anything like that. Like y'all, it makes a big difference. Thank you so much, Gia. How do you get your bank statements in mail in the US if you're living abroad? My bank statements are all virtual and my mail goes to my sister's house. But I have, thank you so much for all the gifts. I have, what's it called? It's called USPS informed delivery. So all the mail that goes to her house, I see it in my inbox. So if there's anything important, hey, Jackie, if there's anything important, I'll just be like, hey, can you open this for me and let me know what it is? I'm not trying to sound like a very cliche millennial, but y'all, people be asking me about mail. I'm like, why are you sending me anything in the mail in 2025? Like, why would you even do that when you could just email me? Like, 99.9% of the things I get in the mail, I don't need. So me personally, I could really give two shits about my mail. But like I said, I am able to see what's coming in my inbox every morning, just in case there is something. What do you do for insurance? What kind of insurance? Talking about like health insurance. So the Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card actually comes with really good travel insurance, but there's other options for insurance as well. There's like digital nomad insurance companies. There's international insurance companies. There are some US insurance companies that offer global travel insurance. There's a lot of different options, and I have a lot of those in my Move Abroad resource guide as well. But yeah, in terms of like how will you stay within your budget? Be mindful about like looking ahead of time so you can get the best flight prices. You can look up popular destinations, right? So remember earlier we talked about, okay, you have the country that you're moving to, but you also want to think about the city, right? You also want to think about the location. So, or like the more specific location. So for example, if I say like, oh, I want to move to Bangkok, Thailand, that's great. But what part of Bangkok? Because Bangkok is huge, right? So if there's a certain part of Bangkok and I know that like, oh, this is where all the tourists go whenever they come here, or this is considered one of the most popular areas. If I am on a budget, I'm probably not going to be looking in that exact area. If I want to be near it, then, I might look for something that's like a mile, 2 miles away. But these are all things that, that you want to take into account in terms of living, in terms of traveling and living abroad on a budget. Thank y'all for the hearts. The other thing you want to, or not the other thing, another thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to traveling and living abroad is things like transportation, right? Like, are you going somewhere where you could easily hop on a train? If not, are you going somewhere where it's going to be walkable? Are you going somewhere where you can get a taxi for, $2, $5? Or is it going to cost you $10, $20, $30 whenever you need to go somewhere? These are things to keep into account. These are things to take into account as well. Like me and my husband have learned that if we listen, when we stay somewhere, if we can walk to the gym, we can walk to the grocery store, we can walk and get food, we save so much money by default because we're not paying money for Ubers, we're not paying money for taxes. These are all things to keep in mind if you want to travel and live abroad on a budget. Look at the area that you're going to stay in. Make sure there are restaurants around. Make sure your grocery store is around. Think about the kind of delivery apps that they have available. These things seem small, y'all, but whenever we're talking about your everyday cost of living, all of these things add up. What if you have a major health problem and need health insurance? Is it international expensive? I mean, I don't know. Like that's something that's like too specific. That's something you're gonna have to look into yourself with your like you have to talk to somebody. Like I don't know. Sorry, just making sure I didn't miss that I didn't miss a comment. What the hell? This bird just like came out of nowhere. And then number 7. Oh wait. Did I have number 6 up here? I really had number 6 up here twice. Okay, yeah, that's number 7, not number 6. So number 7 is how will you adjust to your new life while staying true to who you are? Okay. And I feel like that might sound kind of dramatic, but it's something that I really want to talk about because y'all, when you go to live abroad, I'm gonna be honest with you, like you are truly living a completely different life. I'm telling y'all, like you know how like you have your work friends and then you have like your childhood friends and then you have like your college friend, you know what you like, and you kind of feel like you're not literally living all of these lives, but you're kind of like a different person in each of these elements. It's the same thing when you move abroad. So now that you move abroad, now you have your other friends who travel, and sometimes it's hard keeping up with life and family and stuff back home. Okay. Like we have a family group chat that we use. And I literally just told my husband yesterday, I was like, oh my God, like we haven't even updated the group chat in, I don't know how long. So you want to also think about what are some things that you can do to make sure that you're prioritizing you at the core, right? If you are an artist, how are you going to bring your artistry to Thailand? If you are someone who loves to swim, how are you going to make sure that you are still swimming whenever you move to Costa Rica? If you are someone who loves parks, like you love hiking, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, like it could be a craft, it could be a hobby, it could just be something like a personality trait. It could be related to family, friends, community, whatever it is. Maybe you're really active in the community that you're in right now and you want to move somewhere where you're active. Like these are all things that you want to take into consideration, right? And these are things where, you know, some of this stuff you can look up in advance. Facebook groups are another great option, right? Like I'm just making this up. Let's say you want to go to, let's say Medellin, Colombia, right? So what I would do, like if I were someone who was like, I want to go somewhere where, you know, like I'll be able to find like a lot of stuff going on. You can go and look and see like, oh, wow, they have all these types of events here. You can even go on websites. Well, hold on. Eventbrite might be just for US. Never mind, scratch Eventbrite. But you can go somewhere, even like Facebook events. Like listen, y'all, where there's a will, there is a way. If you are someone who wants to like get involved with locals, I absolutely recommend doing things like going to language exchanges. Like that's one of the simplest, fastest, easiest way to get to know a culture. And this is obviously if you're going to a country that does not speak English. Actually, never mind. There's language exchanges even in the US. So yeah, like going to language exchanges are like a great way to like make friends, you know, join a community, looking at events that are going on. You know, even like visiting the same places while you're abroad and getting out and walking. Like I'm telling y'all, I have explored and discovered so many amazing things traveling. I've traveled to 24 different countries. I've explored so many amazing things just by being willing to walk, by willing to just walk around. So something to keep in mind with that is also weather, right? Hello from Bangalore, $300 ticket. $300 ticket. What are you talking about? But yeah, so these are all things that you want to take into consideration if you are wanting to move abroad from the United States. These are the 7 questions that I went through. These are all questions that you want to ask yourself. These are all questions that you want to think about before you're just like, oh, I'm going to go live abroad. Some people are just like, nope, I'm taking the leap. I'm not doing a whole bunch of research. And at the end of the day, that's their business. I'm not saying it's not going to work out. People do that and it works out for them. But me personally, I believe that you definitely want to travel first. Cheap airfare at the moment, flying to India for $300. Yeah, $300 to India. It sounds phenomenal, like unreal. Actually, I think that's a great flight deal. I do also have a budget travel masterclass, y'all, at the link in my bio for anybody who wants to learn how to travel on a budget. I know today we're talking about moving abroad, but if you just in general want to know about travel, like how to get cheap flights, hotels, Airbnbs, how to keep your entire trip under $1,000, you can get my abroad on a budget masterclass. But I'm about to get up off of here. We have gone through all 7 questions. I really thought I was going to be able to make it through all of them yesterday, but that did not happen. So does anybody have any other questions for me before I hop off of here or no? I cannot believe we only have 5 days left here in Merida. I am like, I don't even know what time is anymore. You're welcome, KT. I have no idea what time is anymore, y'all. It's wild to me. We got to Mexico February 24th. Oh my God, that was 2 months ago. That was it. Well, kind of, because February is a short month. But in theory, we're going to say it was 2 months ago for simple math. So it's been 2 months. That's crazy. Do you have the first part on your page? Mrs. Clark, it'll be on my, YouTube, which is at the link in my bio as well. The first one I posted already, part 1, and then part 2 I'll get up in the next few days. Is the food healthier in Thailand or Mexico? You can find healthy food anywhere. Like we're talking about countries. There's healthy food everywhere. And also like what is healthier? You know, like it just depends. Like the food is completely different, but you can find healthy food all over the world. You're welcome, Mrs. Clark. All right, y'all. Y'all don't have any more questions. I'm about to hop off of here, so I'll catch y'all later. Please hit follow if y'all have not already. Hit follow, subscribe, whatever platform you are walking on. And yeah, I will catch y'all next time.